Hello there, this is the World News at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Trump's tariffs take effect against dozens of countries. Police allegedly break Sowore's hand in detention. Close ally confirms Jonathan ready to run again in 2027. And Igbo women group blast Umahi for praising Tinubu. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The World News at 12 begins outside the shores of Nigeria, where U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs on more than 90 countries around the world have come into effect just before the deadline for deals to be agreed to cut or void the import taxes. Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that billions of dollars were now flowing into the U.S. due to tariffs. Earlier, the president hit India with a 50% tariff, which will take effect on August 27 unless it stops buying Russian oil. Trump also threatened the 100% tariff on foreign-made computer chips as he pushes tech firms to invest in the country. This comes as Apple announced a new $100 billion U.S. investment after coming under pressure from the White House to move more production to America. In a tragic development, there is tension in Jesse community, Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State, as suspected Fulani herdsmen have allegedly attacked and killed a man, Ayo Abuneke, on his farm for confronting them. A son of the deceased who went with him to the farm fled the scene as a result of the attacks and raised an alarm in town. VOP News gathered that the deceased arrived at his farm when he saw the herdsmen destroying his crops and challenged them. The herdsmen reportedly drew out daggers and other dangerous weapons, attacked and killed him. They even attempted to kill the son, according to reports, but he managed to escape from the scene of the incident. Some northern indigenous residents in the town are now running for fear of reprisal attacks by angry youths of Jesse community, who are said to avenge the death of the deceased on any northerner. Human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore was reportedly secretly moved from the Force Intelligence Department of the Nigerian Police Force in Abuja, where he had reported on Wednesday following an official invitation. Sowore had accused the police of intimidation and abuse of power after being detained on Wednesday evening. However, a source informed journalists this morning that the activist was covertly taken from the FID premises around 6 a.m. and moved to an undisclosed location. Sowore had arrived at the force headquarters in Abuja carrying a travel bag as he honored a controversial invitation from the Inspector General of Police's monitoring unit over a petition reportedly filed against him. Sowore, who arrived at exactly 12:16 p.m., was accompanied by his lawyers, Barrister A.K. Musa and Barrister Marshal Abubakar, along with a crowd of supporters chanting anti-government and anti-Kaudi Egbetogun songs. Tensions escalated as members of the Take It Back movement and other allied activist groups issued a 2-hour ultimatum to the police to either release Sowore or face mass resistance. Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, will be one of the leading candidates to confront the incumbent President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 presidential polls, according to a close ally of the former president who confirmed these to journalists yesterday. The ally, who is also in the PDP, as Jonathan told journalists that the plan to draft the former president to contest on PDP's platform had gone far and that he had accepted, adding that the former president was going into the race to find ways of addressing Nigeria's rising poverty, hardship, and the general suffering that had gripped the citizenry in recent years. The source said the project to bring back Jonathan to reposition Nigeria was being driven by key Nigerian leaders and elders who believe the former president stabilized the country and its economy within the 6 years of his administration. The source said it was in a bid to rescue the country and restore the dwindling economy and Nigeria to its pride of place that key PDP leaders and elders started pleading with him to consider running against Tinubu in 2027. 2027. Some believe that allowing him to run for a single term of 4 years remained the clearest pathway for power to return to the North in 2031 and remain there for 8 years without a serious struggle by the South. You're currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We took a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to Barrister Marshall Abubakar. He is the lawyer for detained AAC presidential candidate and also a leader of the Take It Back movement, Omoyele Sowore. Do stay tuned. You're still tuned into the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take more stories while we wait on Barrister Marshall Abubakar to join us in the conversation this afternoon and talk about the arrest and detention of AAC presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Meanwhile, panic broke out this morning when a train compartment detached from the rest of the coaches at the Ladipo section of the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, temporarily disrupting movement in the area. The incident occurred at about 8 a.m. and lasted for over 30 minutes. The affected train was traveling from Ogba Ayo in Ogun State to Apapa in Lagos. An eyewitness, Olorin Toba Omodele, said the rear compartment suddenly broke away from the moving train, startling both passengers and commuters nearby. While the incident caused confusion and alarm, no casualties were reported. The Ladipo axis, known for heavy traffic and congestion, had previously been the site of several major vehicular accident. Today's incident further heightened concerns about safety along the corridor, though emergency responders reportedly arrived swiftly to manage the situation and ease the resulting traffic buildup. I'm now being joined by Barrister Marshall Abubakar. He's the lawyer to detained AAC presidential candidate and leader of the Take It Back movement, Omoyele Sowore. Barrister Marshall Abubakar, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, and nice having you.
Thank you so much. You're currently live on radio. This is Voice of the People 90.3 FM. So we got reports this morning that Omoyele Sowore's hand was broken in detention this morning and that he's been moved to an undisclosed location. You were one of the lawyers who followed him to actually honor the police's invitation yesterday. Give us a breakdown of what happened from when he got there. We're also seeing reports that he was assaulted by police officers from when he got there to his arrest and detention. And also, is it true his hand was broken this morning and he's been moved to an undisclosed location?
It's true his hand was broken this morning. As we speak currently, his hand has just been bandaged about 10 minutes ago, and he's carrying a very heavy bandage on his right hand, which was broken. Team of about 9 policemen stormed his detention room early this morning at about 5:30 a.m. and then they informed him that they were taking him to court. When he asked to see the court order or the charges he's been taken to court for, so as to inform his lawyers, because I was on phone with him this morning too, they refused, so then they started manhandling him. They have handled him, and in the process they broke his right hand. They are bruised on the hand, and the hand is broken and is currently being bandaged as we speak.
There are also allegations that these officers are from the IGP team, and this is because of how he's been happy on how IGP Agbeto being illegal.
Several this morning at the instructions and at the behest of the first PRO, Olumuyiwa, or whatever his name is. Olumuyiwa, the men informed already this morning that the first PRO mandated to go to the cell and carry out the breaking of his hand, and they achieved that purpose by breaking.
Are you saying they intentionally went there to break his hand? You said that there was a scuffle, and it was during that scuffle that his hand was broken.
What scuffle can a single man have against 9 heavily armed mobile policemen. They went there with the intention of overpowering him and causing him grievous bodily harm. In short, we are putting it out now that there is a mischievous plan by the police authorities at the highest level to kill Sowore in detention.
Wait, you are alleging that the police authorities are trying to kill Omoyele Sowore?
That is what we are saying now. Information at our disposal now has shown that their intention, they can no longer stand the heat. The oven is hot and the room is hot, and the imaginations and the plans of the police is to kill Omoyele Sowore.
So you are saying the invitation was a sham in order to get him in police detention and do whatever they want to do to him?
They know they have no case against him. I was there with them throughout yesterday, and we told the man who is in charge, the man who is in charge of IGP monitoring units, Akin Fakorede, and said, please give us an allegations we can respond to. There was none. We said, what is the allegation against him? There was clearly nothing. He said it was a case of forgery. Show us the original document that was forged, and the forged copy you have with you, you claim was forged. There was nothing. The only thing was that he showed us 2 documents that are the same, except that one of them had panic written on it. So then, that panic written on it is forgery. So the police clearly has nothing against Sowore. Their only plans and intention is to kill Sowore in detention. That plan.
What would they achieve by killing him in detention? Because you keep harping on this that they want to kill him in detention. For what reason? Because he's in the opposition party?
Is clearly to silence the man that has been on their jugular for decades. The man that has the balls to call out the police hierarchy. The only man that is policing the police in Nigeria today is Sowore. The only man that stands to them, that stands squab against them, and call them out in the face of every injustice they commit, that call them out in the case of every illegalities they commit, that call them out in the face of every subversion of rule of law they commit. And like today in Sowore, they are not tired of this. They want an easy way out. I think the best way to achieve that is by killing Sowore. But we have told them today, and we are saying if anything happens to Sowore in detention, the IGP, Akin Fakorede, the first PRO, and the police hierarchy are responsible for the death of Sowore if anything happens to him.
Barrister Marshal Abubakar, you are his legal representative, right? So yes, can we say you are speaking from the POV of the law now, what the law says when it comes to detaining someone, letting them know their crime, or you're speaking with sentiments? Because when you say they are trying to kill him, what are the indications that they are trying to kill him? They invited him for questioning. Would you say that the fact that he went there with supporters chanting Egbetoku must go, chanting Egbetoku is illegal, and all of what he's been posting all this while, talking about how illegal the IGP is, and the fact that he went there with toothpaste, toothbrush, and everything, like he was prepared to be in detention. Would you say that's the reason why this case is being handled like this? Because when you said the police are trying to kill him, that is a hefty allegation.
In Nigeria, detention pending investigation is illegal. The law presupposes, and in the case of Duraku versus Nigerian Police Force, the Court of Appeal clearly stated it, that Nigeria opposed institution of detention pending investigation. You investigate before you arrest and detain for a very short period and charge to court. You don't even arrest pending detention. You don't even arrest pending investigation. So the motive the police had was not to investigate any crime against Sowore. The motive they had was not to charge Sowore to court, as there's not shown, because as we speak now, there's no charge against him. The motive they had is not because they have committed any offense against anybody in Nigeria. The motive they had is simply to arrest him, detain him, silence him, and if possible, kill him in detention. There is no charge. There is the law of Nigeria forbids detention, arrest, and detention is not the right of the police per se. The police has no right. The police has no right to just bungle into a man you've invited several times. In January this year, we were there at the first headquarters. He was invited, and we honored the invitation, and we were there together. And after we had the investigation, they charged him to court, and the court has since abandoned the case because there is no case for them to pursue. The agent was talking about that case and has told them clearly that the police hierarchy has no right to prosecute a man for simply calling out the police hierarchy for decadence, for corruption, and for unlawful abuse of power. So in this instance case, there is clearly no case against Sowore. There is nothing that they have shown that he has done wrong. And at any rate, if Sowore offends the police hierarchy, it is not in the police, so in the same case, where they are the defender, where they are the accuser, to be an accuser in the case, to be the detained authority in the case, to investigate the case, to write the report of the case, and to charge him to court, all under one breath. They have no such powers. That's an abuse of prosecutorial powers under the Constitution and under our laws under the Police Act. They have no such powers. So if at all Sowore has offended the police hierarchy, like they are claiming, their duty is to refer to another sister agency to investigate, and if found wanting to prosecute. But in this case, there is nothing shown throughout the period we were there yesterday from morning till night, and there was nothing shown to show that amounts to an offense that warrants his arrest and in the first place. So arrest is not
so
a
the
right.
police gave no reason for arresting him.
They have no reason for arresting him.
Right now, we are hearing that he's been taken to an undisclosed location. Where is Omoyele Sowore right now?
As we speak presently now, he's been detained at the notorious, I don't want to use notorious because I think he's been detained at the SAS office in Guzape in Abuja here. That's where he's been detained.
So his location is not undisclosed?
It was undisclosed earlier on because they didn't inform where they were taking him to initially. But now we know where he is now because we are also in touch with him. And we're also taking every legal step to ensure his release, because we know that the longer he stays there with them, the more his life is being threatened. There is a clear move and a clear indication by the police to kill him in detention. And we're calling out the police hierarchy and said, is there you really Sowore, or you contend, or you have the Nigerian people to contend and face? We will not relent, we will not sit down and watch them kill the only voice that speaks out clearly and massively and uprightly for the Nigerian people. We will not allow that to stand. We will not allow that injustice to stand.
Thank you so much, Barrister Marshal Abubakar. But still on this particular conversation, right, Sowore has been harping on what he calls the illegality of IGP Kayode Egbetokun. He goes ahead to say that the IGP is not supposed to be in office, and also I'm currently reading a report where you are accusing someone that is being put here as the police IG's mistress of having a personal vendetta against Sowore. I mean, what do you have to say about the statement credited to you that was released yesterday, where you reportedly accused the Nigerian police force, particularly the office of the IGP Kayode Egbetokun, and one of his personal staff with the name Yemisi Kuti, of abusing the powers of their offices to settle personal scores under the guise of official procedure?
The police regulations and the police act of 2020 clearly prohibit a police officer from using the powers or the instrument of his office to settle personal vendetta or personal wrongs done to them. In this case, clearly the petitioners in this particular matter, or the complainant in this matter, were the IGP himself and Yemisi Egbetokun, who is an ACP in the Nigerian Police Force, the PSO3 to the IGP. You cannot be a judge in your own case. There is no way that the IGP of police will be referring the matter to his subordinates. In the matter he has personal interest to subordinate to treat and handle. That is a clear abuse of power. Because of the IG is not personal, neither is it private to the IGP. This current IGP tenure has long elapsed, and it is clearly stated that you cannot, it is unprecedented. This is the first time we'll be seeing an IGP who is long due for retirement, insist on retaining office and insist on abusing.
But he did not appoint himself, Barrister Marshal Abubakar. He did not appoint himself.
There is acrimony in the police force today. The policemen are clearly angry with the situation of the force today.
So is Omoyele Sowore the best person to speak for them?
The police have been speaking, but their voice is silenced. They cannot speak out because they get arrested, detained, and dismissed. Over 20 policemen have been arrested over this matter, and about 4 of them in the last 2 weeks have been dismissed summarily by the same police force. The police have no right to silence everybody. They tell them that you should be happy that you have a job. They've not penalized, they've not personalized police job. I think it's their personal property. It is not. It is not Yoruba police force. It is Nigerian police force. It's not in the place of the IGP to insist or that every policeman must be loyal to him when his tenure has long elapsed, when morale in the police force is at the lowest ebb. This is the worst stage of our policing life in this country. All thanks to Kayode Egbetokun, who has refused to hand over the person when the ovation was loudest. In terms of every paraphernalia of office, Egbetokun has lost it. Every policeman today, go to the street of the Nigerian police force. We were there yesterday. A policeman told me clearly yesterday that this is the worst police he has ever experienced in his entire life. This is what we have today because of Kayode Egbetokun. As long as his tenure has long elapsed, he should just throw the towel and go. He needs to attend to his health. That is what should be paramount to him now, not to see.
He needs to attend to his health. What is wrong with his health?
His health.
Well, there are feelers everywhere, even among the police force, that the IG is currently sick. It is there. Various reports has it. The current IG currently has just one single kidney, and it's battling to even save that single kidney for him to live.
And you're saying that there is something wrong with his health. He has kidney issues, and he's not even choosing to leave that seat.
Exactly, that he has just one kidney. He's battling to save.
But aren't these rumors? Have you verified this, that this is actually true? Aren't these rumors to buttress Omoyele Showore's case?
Very fortunately, even before Showore's case, this has been in the public domain. I have never denied it. It is in the public knowledge. It's the public knowledge that the IG has just one kidney. So, with due respect, he's our brother. We don't have any personal grudge against him. We are simply saying that now that things are like this, it is most honorable for him to retire and go back like his predecessors. Everybody has come out to condemn him. Even his predecessor came out to say that Egbetokun lacks the basic rudiments of running the police force. His immediate predecessor came out to say it clearly that Egbetokun does not have what it takes to run the police force. That should go. So everybody is now saying he should go, even his policemen. I said it to someone this morning during the earlier interview. Let that you just announce in form of an April Fool today that April Fool, I have resigned. Every policeman, 99% of the police force hierarchy or rank today will celebrate and jubilate his removal from office. Because they are all tired, they are all complaining, they are all grumbling. Everybody's tired of IJ with the police force. He's killing the morals. He's promoting people based on some parochial considerations. Either people who are alleged to be his mistresses, or people who are alleged to be of the same tribe with him, or people who are there, clerical staff in his offices. These are people that he's promoting. Let him release the entire list of the police of the people who were promoted. Men who have suffered. I have a colleague of mine. Who is a PhD holder. I have a colleague of mine who is a PhD holder who graduated in 2012, who became a lawyer in 2013, who has a PhD in law for more than 15 years now. This same guy has remained a sergeant in the police force simply because he's from the southeast and he has somebody in the IG's office to help his promotion. This is what we have in the police force today. It's about patronage of tribe, patronage of pragmatism. It should not be so. It is wrong. It's wrong. It should not be so. And we're insisting that this police force is Nigerian police force. The police force was set up with taxpayers' money. Our money. The police force is our property. It is our institution. It is not personal. Egbetokun should go. The time is now. The time is right for him to go. He should leave the office and everybody with special ideas come and run the place.
But Mr. Marshall, you claim that you have nothing personal against IGP Egbetokun, but one could say that you and your client, Omoyele Sowore, have veered away from the fact that you say he's an illegal IGP, his tenure has expired, to start talking about his personal life, the fact that he's sick, the fact that he seems not to be promoting the people who are worthy of promotion, or that he's giving promotion to his tribesmen or people he has whatever personal relationship with. Wouldn't you say that is one of the reasons why it seems that there is this aggression from the Nigerian police towards your client?
Now, the police force is Nigerian police force, not Egbetokun police force. Court of correction. The promotions we complain about, if Egbetokun had done the promotions meritoriously, I'll give an instance now. Akin Fakorede, the ACP who is in charge of Showore's case, who has the IG monitoring unit, has served 33 years in the police force today. He was just promoted from the DCP, from the ACP to DCP, just recently with this last promotion. Now, Uti, who works in IG's office as a clerical staff, not an operations person, a clerical staff in IG's office, I spent 12 years, between 10 to 12 years in the police force. She is now an ACP, the same as with the man that spent 33 years in the police force. There are people, somebody told me yesterday in the force headquarters that he has spent 6 years as a CSP. Bukola spent just about 8 months from the previous rank to the next rank. So when you see the dichotomy, you question the veracity or the essence of this kind of promotions. On what basis would somebody who did just spend up to 8 months be given the next rank, while somebody else is spending 10 months in operations? I know people who have fought Boko Haram, who have fought terrorists, who have fought kidnappers in Rivers State. They have remained on the same rank for the past 4 years. These are operations people. These are counter-terrorist specialists who have gone around the world to acquire knowledge and the wherewithal. They have not been promoted because they're not the IG's office, or because they're not Yorubas, or because they're not women. So on what basis would you be making this kind of selective and discriminating promotion? Section 41 of the Constitution of Nigeria prohibits such an act. The anti-discriminatory clause in Nigeria says that no person of Nigerian descent shall be given or shall be defended against on account of their tribe, race, sex, or religion. What the IG is doing is a violation of Chapter 4, Section 41 of the Constitution. He is being discriminatory on account of tribe, on account of sex. And these are clearly constitutional moves and motives. And as constitutional lawyers and as human rights activists, it behoves on us to criticize this, to condemn this, and to ask for a redress. It is an aberration. It is counterproductive. It is against the rule of law. In short, the operators that check the deal they just released. All of these persons who are heading various units, most of them are persons of Yoruba descent. This is not Yoruba police force. This is Nigeria police force. We can't stand on one ground will we stand out and criticize the Hausa for doing that under Buhari if we cannot condemn and criticize them for doing that now under Yoruba regime. The fact that we belong to the same tribe with them does not stop us as same Yorubas from criticizing and condemning what they are doing. We are simply saying that this is wrong. It doesn't matter who is doing it. It doesn't matter where it is being done. Whatever is wrong is wrong. And as lawyers and as persons of sound mind in this country today, as persons who have sworn to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria today, we must criticize and condemn it. It's not about Kajagbetekun. We would never have done that if Kajagbetekun was doing that in his private company.
Barrister Marshall Abubakar. Barrister Marshall.
Where is the Nigerian police force?
Barrister.
Patrimony.
Okay.
Condemn it.
All right.
And nothing can be done.
Thank you, Barrister. Quite a number of groups have come out to call for his release. The Take It Back movement has come out to call for his release. Amnesty International has put out a statement. Also, the Yoruba Union has called for the IGP's dismissal over Sowore's detention. They are threatening to occupy Nigerian embassies globally. Would this finally get the attention of the presidency to this situation? And also, what are you as his lawyers doing to get him out of detention? Have you gotten a date for when he will be charged to court, and on what grounds and all of that? Let us know what you're doing as his legal representatives to get him out of this situation.
We are doing a lot. Today we'll be approaching the Federal High Court or the courts of in Abuja here to ask that that the police mandates them to release him. They have no rights to, at their pleasure and discretion, arrest Nigerians and put them behind bars simply for criticizing and condemning them for doing what is wrong. We are also calling on every person in this country. The call for the clamor for Sowore's release is unanimous. It is now a Nigeria thing, and very soon it's become a global thing. We're also working on the international organizations and NGOs to also come forth and stop this rascality by the police force. This police force is not about the Egbetukun. This police force is for Nigerians, and nobody has the right to personalize it and turn it to a personal fiefdom. It is beyond an individual. Institutions, we in this country, we're a duty to be strong institutions, not strong individuals that will destroy these institutions for their selfish gains. And the problem with destroying institutions is this. Now, when you desecrate and destroy institutions, one day you'll be out of power. The other side today can attest to this fact. You'll be out of power one day. And then that same institution you help in destroying, but you need that institution to protect you. You will not be there to protect you. Because another strong individual that taking over the power that you had there and use the same power against you. That's what they don't know. So Nigeria has to move beyond parochial sentiment. The intention of being strong individuals to the detriment of our national growth. In similar crimes, the institutions are there to checkmate all of these excesses. In similar crimes, so in Nigeria, it is different. And as people who have seen how these things are being done in similar crimes, we will not fold our hands and allow them to continue to jeopardize our national growth and development. This IG must stop seeing the police force as a personal property. And we are now calling on them. We have a folder there of everybody they've arrested on account of these agitations, everybody they've arrested and dismissed summarily. We have a full list of them. We are mandating them. This is beyond just Mr. Sowore's fight. It's now a national thing. That every policeman they've arrested and dismissed summarily, and now about 4 of them that were arrested and kept in IRC in Abuja here, and they're summarily dismissed by the same IGP on account of their screaming allergy to the rascality that's going on in the fourth sector there. We are calling on them to ensure that this is quickly and not about just reinstated, and that those persons who are taking detained on account of asking that the right thing within the force be done, asking for reforms within the force, that they should be reinstated immediately and be released. Otherwise, Nigeria would ask questions. At this time, we don't just ask questions. Sitting in our house, we ask questions and the right questions at the appropriate places.
Before you go, Barrister Marshall Abubakar, let's quickly go back to the police invitation that reportedly was on allegations of forgery. Are you saying the police manufactured that report in order to get Sowore to in order to invite him, or in order to get him to honor their invitation? Are you saying that that particular report of forgery for which he was invited was not real but was false?
The allegation of forgery was an afterthought. The initial invitation was for a starting public disturbance and defamation of character. That was the initial invitation. But that
so who filed that against him?
Public opprobrium. When they discovered that to not fly because the public were on their neck and they condemned and criticized them for it, they now withdrew the initial application, the initial invitation for a starting public disturbance, and brought up this new put out allegation of forgery. There is nothing like forgery in this particular matter. Just try to give a dog a bad name in order to nail it. There is no forgery committed anywhere. We told them yesterday on record. They were there with their cameras. We told them on record that there is no forgery here. And if you believe there's a forgery, to us, whose signature was forged. Let me come forth and sign and show that this signature was forged and this was how forgery was committed. There is nothing of such. It's just an afterthought. It's just them trying to give a dog a bad name. There is no forgery anywhere. The police communication that were published on Sarah Reporters were published and were gotten from the right source. The police communications were sent to policemen, and policemen were not happy about it. Send them to the appropriate news media, not to Sowore, but to the appropriate news media, and they were published not by Sowore, but by Sarah Reporters. They even invited Sarah Reporters, not Sarah Reporters Incorporated, which is a wrong invitation in the first place. So everything they do,
but if you say it was posted by Sarah Reporters and not Sowore, is he not part of the publishers? When you say it was posted by, is there a dichotomy between the person of Omoyele Sowore and the ownership of Sarah Reporters?
The owner of TVC today is your president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The owner of the nation today is the same president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do they go ahead to arrest Tinubu for every prosecution that was made by the nation and by TVC? They don't do that. I don't know why we keep personalizing this issue. They are two different entities. The company is a separate entity from the publishers of the state company. At any rate, Sowore is just the founder of Sarah Reporters. He is not currently the head of Sarah Reporters. So let's distinguish this fact. But because they have an act to grant against Sowore, not against another person, they are carrying out this plot. It's beyond just what you're saying. The purpose is not Sarah Reporters. Akipa Korede is also angry with Sowore. Akipa Korede was the former head of the notorious defunct staff in Rivers State, who was reputed to be sharing money on behalf of former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi. These things are public knowledge. He's angry about his person in the Sarah Reporters, make provisions against it. Because Sowore, I will deal with you. And this is what they are doing now. The police force is not to possess the personal vendetta. It should not be so. It's not about the person who are holding the powers today. No, there will be no more. If you set the personal scores on account of the powers you have in your hands today, nobody is no longer there tomorrow. Another person will still use the power against you. You shouldn't do that. The law of Nigeria prohibits it. It opposes it. Police Regulation 367 clearly prohibits such an action. And these are the same code they have promised and they sought to uphold. They are desecrating the same oath. It should not be. This is not policing.
Barrister Marshall, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this issue this afternoon. We're hoping for a speedy resolution of this situation. What are you expecting to happen before the end of today? Because are medics taking care of his arm? Is it something that will need more medical attention as time goes by? And do you expect that the police will actually maybe allow him access to a medical team to treat that hand? Because we're seeing pictures circulating of that hand being bandaged, his right hand, and he's looking very uncomfortable.
And so, still as that aside the attack on the exams this morning, that some gaseous elements were also sprayed in the room, which may have caused Sowore a lot of damage.
Wait, you're saying that some gaseous elements were sprayed in his room and he inhaled it?
In the room and inhaled. I mean, this is we know what happened to him.
Isn't this like you accusing Nigerian police of torturing him in different ways?
In different ways, with an attempt to kill him. That is what we're saying. That is beyond just the arm. They want to pick it up, and they also spray gaseous elements on him. And we know that murder these days can be committed with just having somebody exposed to the radioactive element, which is what we think they have done to Sowore between yesterday night and this morning. They've got to attack him with everything in their arm, including weapons, including gaseous elements, including chemicals.
Is that what Sowore told you?
That is what we know. That is what we know. That's what we are saying. that these people have an intent to kill Sowore slowly, and that will not happen. The only thing they can do now to redeem their battered image is to release Sowore immediately.
There are fears that a protest might break out over these. The Take It Back movement has released a statement. Amnesty has, the Yoruba group has. They're saying that they will block embassies worldwide, wherever they have their offices all across the globe. They're going to come out and make sure that they picket Nigerian embassies worldwide. If this degenerates into that, wouldn't this be more problem for the police and also more problem for Sowore?
That is, it is exactly what the police want. The police want to create anarchy so they can have some more fun for security purposes. Because nobody questions security vote that they get in the police force today. They want to create a state of chaos to show that there is a presence of law and order in the country so that they can get more funding for themselves. But this should be averted. And the only way to avert this impending crisis is to reach Sowore immediately. Otherwise, I can assure them that Nigerians are ready for them. Nigerians both at home and abroad and in diaspora are ready for them. And very soon, they will feel the full wrath of the Nigerian people if they fail to reach Sowore power.
So you have no inkling of when he will be released?
We are calling on them as they know what's happening in the country today. They know things are monopoly to see what they cannot consume. So they prepare the signs of reasons and immediately do what is needful by releasing Sowore and apologizing to him. Immediately. That's what we're asking them.
Barrister Marshal Abubakar, thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon, and we'll look to you for further updates on this situation. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then we have been speaking with Barrister Marshal Abubakar. He's the legal representative of the AAC presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore, who's also a leader of the Take It Back movement. We got reports that he was assaulted while in detention this morning with his right hand broken, and his lawyer has accused the Nigerian police force of trying to kill him in detention by spraying some toxic gaseous element into his cell. You're still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break and return with more news stories. Stay tuned. Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, will be one of the leading candidates to confront incumbent President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 presidential polls, according to a close ally of the former president. The ally, who's also in the PDP, told journalists that the plan to draft the former president to contest on PDP's platform had gone far and that he had accepted, adding that the former president was going into the race to find ways of addressing Nigeria's rising poverty, hardship, and general suffering that had gripped the citizenry in recent years. Meanwhile, the Igbo Women Assembly has criticized Dave Umahi, the Minister of Works, for saying President Bola Tinubu has been fair to the Southeast. In a statement on Wednesday, Lolo Neka Chimezie, national president of the IWA, said Umahi's comments do not reflect the reality on the ground and urged him to stop deceiving Ndibo. Umahi had said the Southeast should forget about producing a president in 2027 and instead support President Tinubu's re-election bid. Kenneth Okonkwo, the lawyer, had also backed Umahi's position, describing Tinubu as a fair leader, but the IWA rejected both claims, saying the president has shown no significant departure from the marginalization witnessed under previous administrations. Meanwhile, former director of the Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor, has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to take a decisive action against political parties such as the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and the National Coalition Party, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, for starting campaigns 2 years before the elections. He warned that over 80% of the country's security challenges were politically motivated and lamented that politicians were at it again with campaigns and endorsement of candidates when the election is still almost 2 years to go. Ejiofor called on the Tinubu administration to focus on governance instead of being in the middle of the 2027 politics. And that's it on the World News at 12. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Trump's tariffs have taken effect against dozens of countries. Police allegedly break Showore's hand in detention as lawyer alleges they want to kill him. Close ally confirms Jonathan ready to run again in 2027, and Igbo women group blast Umahi for praising Tinubu. That is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM for coverage of your live event and brand news mentions in our news bulletins. Do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Coming up shortly will be Matters with Solomon Ofem.